Hi all, this is Jeff Rascov, and I've been working on my website, and I have some old images that previous images that I want to put on my portfolio, and one of them is this wonderful vase that I made. It's basically it's like a fire hydrant I made out of clay. Okay, and multiple pieces of clay you can see here, and it's an actual jar. You can actually lift the lid up, and this is a picture from there was a show at a brewery called Pints for Pups, and I put it in that show. And I want to put this on my website, but of course you got this horrible background here, so I'm going to go over a little Photoshop demo where I teach you to add some depth of field to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of make the background a little blurry, and there's a concept in photography called depth of field, where part of the image is in focus and part is out of focus, and so we want to have kind of the background a little blurry because it's very kind of distracting. So we're going to use Photoshop, and so this will be a quick Photoshop lesson for you. I'm going to open this up in Photoshop, and you can see, oh, it's already open. I've already worked on it. Let me revert. There we go. So here's the image inside of Photoshop right now. The first thing I'm going to do is maybe straighten it a little bit. Those of you who have seen my videos before, probably the best and easiest way to straighten something is to use the ruler tool, which is located under the eyedropper here. And what you do with the ruler is you can drag a line kind of along where you think it should be. So I'm going to kind of drag a line a little bit on the angle here. This is probably something like this. So it's a little bit of an angle, so you're like, oh, this should be straight. And then if you go underneath the image rotation, you can say arbitrary here, and it'll calculate the angle for you, and then you hit OK, and it's straight. Now, it might not look straight because you're being deceived by the edges here, but we're going to crop it. Of course, I don't need all this extra outside part, so I'm going to use the crop tool right here. And how the crop tool works is you can bring in the edges. You can see these little squares around the outside here. So I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to bring this side in, kind of like that. Let's bring this side in. I don't want to see that cup over there, though I think that my wife did make that cup, I believe. So, and then we'll bring this in here. So we'll kind of crop this. Let's get a little bit less of that cup there. It's a little distracting. I'm going to be kind of tight here. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to crop it a little bit, and let's hit the move tool when you're done using the crop tool, or you can hit return on the keyboard. And I'm going to hit the move tool there, and then so here we go. It's a nice vase that we got here, but of course the background is still very distracting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. Right now there's a background layer. Whenever you open an image inside of Photoshop, it has this default background layer. I'm going to double click on this to make it a normal layer. Probably don't really need to do that right now, but I did it anyways. And then I'm going to duplicate this layer because I'm going to blur it, and then use another layer, the second layer, to not blur the bottom. You'll see what I mean. So I'm going to actually duplicate this layer, and if you don't see layers, all these are pop-up windows over here, and so there is one called layers right there, and it pops up the layer. It's probably stuck over here. You can move these windows around by clicking on the name of them. So if your layer is, you're probably, when you open a layer up, it's probably attached over here. And if you want, you can move it around by clicking on the word and dragging it out. Okay, so let's duplicate this layer right here. I'm going to duplicate it by dragging it next to the trash can here. So you'll see there's a little trash can down here in the bottom to delete a layer, but there's a plus next to it. If I drag this layer, I'm going to use the mouse, and I'm going to drag it over top of the plus right here, and I'm going to release my mouse, and it gives me two of them. So now I have two. Let me zoom in just a little bit here so I can see. There we go. Okay, so here we go. So I have two layers right now. So now I'm going to select the outside of the vase here, or of the I guess a fire hydrant here. First thing I'm going to do is use the selection tool. This kind of a rather newer one here in Photoshop. This one right here. It's kind of a square looking tool. I don't know what it's called, and when I roll over it, it's not telling me. There it is, object selection tool. And so again, I'm on the top layer here. I'm just going to put my cursor over top of that. Notice how it kind of recognizes you're over top of an object or something. Jeez, okay, hold on. It was getting the wrong one. I don't want that. I want this. Here we go. I just clicked on it. It recognized it. It should turn pink, and then you click on it, and there. So I'm going to flip the selection. So a lot of times when I'm selecting things in Photoshop, I select the opposite of what I want. So again, I don't really want the fire hydrant here. I want the opposite. So I select the fire hydrant, but then in Photoshop what you can do is underneath the select pull down menu, there's one that's called inverse. And what that inverse would do is select the opposite. So I'm going to select the opposite. So now I'm going to do my what I just talked about. We're going to blur it so the background's a little blurry. To do that, we can go underneath the filters here, and there's a blur option here. And the one I want to use is going to be lens blur. This allows you to adjust the amount of blur. Some of these don't allow you to adjust. Gaussian blur allows you to adjust it. I don't know. I'm just going to use lens blur here. It's under filter blur, lens blur. And you can see already there's a radius here that allows you to blur a little bit more or less. See, if you go really high, it seems really blurry, but that doesn't look correct. We just want a little bit of blur so you can see it right here. You can blur it right here. There's a radius option here. So there is some options here that you can use to adjust your blur. I'm just adjusting the radius a little bit higher so it's somewhat blurred. Now the problem that you see already with using that is, of course, the base of there is blurry, and that doesn't look quite right because the wood should be in focus like this is in focus. But that's where our second layer comes in. So I'm going to hit OK here, and I'm going to stop selection. I don't need it to be selected anymore. You can go underneath select and say deselect, the second option there. So again, I have two layers right here. So what I'm going to do is this one, of course, underneath still has everything in focus, and the one on top has everything blurry. In focus, blurry. You can do the eyeball here to turn it on and off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this image here at the top. I'm going to keep... Oh, I don't want that tool. I want to keep just this part down here. So you'll see what I'll do. So I'm going to make a mask on this top layer here. There's a little like moon shaping object here called a mask in the bottom of the layer window here. And if I click on that moon shape, it'll give me a white area here. So how a mask works is you got black area that's going to be transparent and white area is going to be opaque here. And so in order to do that, I'm going to use a gradient, so it gives me a gradual transparency. So you'll notice here is a gradient tool inside of Photoshop. And so if I click again, you'll notice I have this white area selected here from this mask that I made. And if I click on the gradient right here, if I click on that, I can go up here and make sure I have a black to white gradient right here. And if you don't see a black to white gradient, there's a pull down menu right here, and you can choose. Under basics, there is a black to white right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag up, I think. Yeah, if you notice, see how I'm dragging up? I'm dragging up. And notice how it's now, you'll see, oh, it's in focus now. And how is that being done here? Well, if you release the mouse, you'll see what happens. You'll see that the black part now is actually the black is going to be solid, where the white will be opaque, and then you'll notice that it has a gradient option here. So if we turn this off, let's turn off the bottom layer, and you can see what's happening here. What we've done is we've gotten rid of, the black is transparent, so we got rid of the bottom part. So this again, the one on the bottom here is all in focus. So this in focus part of the bottom of this is coming through to the top one that's on top, and this one's blurry. So we're using a little bit of this image through to this image. So we're using a little bit, and that's kind of there. We might do it again. I'm going to try and do it again. I'm gonna get it. let's see if I can put it a little bit higher. I like to see the edge not being too blurry here. The edge of the wood there. There we go, something like that. Again, I'm making a gradient of black to white, and the black part will be transparent, which is then showing through to the bottom one, which is all in focus. So that looks a lot better. It looks a little bit more natural, and now I'm ready to put it on my website, and I would save it as a JPEG image under File, save a copy, and I'm going to save it as a JPEG. That's called Pottery, Rascov. Pottery 2 web. I think I already saved it once. Let's put 2 in there. And I'm going to make sure it has a color profile. Okay, thank you.